Well, we are back in the world of Pike Shot Total War, and today we do have a 2v2 here with the new update for Pike Shot Total War, which is available on ModDB. And yeah, we have a classic sort of 2v2 between Sweden and, well, just about everyone else in Europe at this point, it seems. Sweden here is slicing and dicing, it seems, up some French trilliers early on here. They got some, looks like some mounted Jaegers, I guess these are, and they're dealing with some French skirmishes early on here, so getting rid of these trilliers. But yeah, it's France and the Netherlands going up against two Swedish armies in today's Pike and Shot Total War battle. If you haven't heard of this mod before, it's a mod that is from Shogun 2 Total War. It's set in the Pike and Shot era. And yeah, it adds a whole bunch of new stuff, including a whole load of new factions. I think they are looking at doing a campaign as well for it. So yeah, they've got a whole load planned in the future for this sort of mod. But it's really fun. It's got a good community as well, pretty active one. And they do quite a lot of replays. I get a lot sent to me and recommended to check out. And I thought I'd check out this one here today, and we'll see how well this one does. But yeah. It should be an exciting one. They're quite like slow-paced. Pike Shot isn't exactly the fast-moving sort of style of warfare, like the Napoleonic era, or I don't know, any other era really. I feel like Pike Shot, you know, quite slow as you have these lumbering phalanxes and huge sort of musket fights that take place with inaccurate weaponry. So definitely get yourself some snacks, get yourself some drinks, and prepare for a bloody duo here. And it looks like the Swedes have had a bit of an update. I think certainly a lot of their units, their musket units here, seem a lot bigger. They used to be tiny, I feel like, those musket units for the Swedes. So they seem to always get outgunned, but they seem like they've got a lot better off. It does also seem this player here has gone for a lot of muskets and very few pikes. So they've got lots of the shot, but not a lot of the pike. Over on the other side over here, looks might be the same, to be honest. Maybe musketeers are more the meta than pikes. I do not know really. Yeah, it looks like they've kind of got like 4 or 5 pike, like musket units for every couple of pikemen. I mean, certainly, yeah, there's at least, I'd say, 10 musketeers here, and then like 3 or 4 pikes. And it looks like, yeah, here, for instance, we've got another couple of pike units, pike units here, yeah, and then we've got about 5 units of musketeers, and yeah, a lot of cav here as well. Cav is pretty key to have in these Pike and Shot battles as well. They're really, really important, to be honest. You get a whole bunch of different ones. You got missile ones like the Harquebusiers. I think most of the cavalry in Pike and Shot has got missile capability, to be honest. You've got cuirassiers as well back here, which are more your heavy cav, but still fire like a pistol off. And then you've got your general, which is actually pretty useful. You can use your general if you want to in a melee fight. You've got Bernard Saxe Weimar here, and he's going to be used. You can hear the damn. Is that American Civil War commentary? I don't know. Like the battle advisor, it could be, quite possibly. But yeah, 1 pounders coming forward here. This is probably the smallest gun I've ever seen. But yeah, they're coming forward. But if you would like to see any more of this mod, you think, you know what, Pope, you should show off more of it, then do remember to leave a like, subscribe if you're around here, and a comment to show your support. And do let me know, yeah, let me know in the comments what you think of the mod. Are you a fan of it, or would you rather see more like NTW3? Or are you like, oh, no, cover a bit more of this. It's a fun sort of change from our typical gunpowder sort of content we show off. It's certainly something very different, and yeah, I'm excited to see how this one goes down. In the past, when we've seen these ones, I feel like the Swedes are pretty strong, and yeah, I would say that like the Netherlands, I'd say is probably the weakest of these ones. I feel like I just see the Netherlands lose a lot. Maybe it doesn't necessarily mean that they're the weakest, they just often seem to be losing a lot. We've got some mercenary dragoons over here. They're unleashing some volleys. I think they're having a bit of a skirmish actually with some dragoons of their own. So yeah, dragoons here are like they are a mounted infantry unit really. By the time of the Napoleonics, they're not really at all. They're just, you know, on horseback. But really, you are supposed to dismount them, and they are to shoot, and then they can retreat back to their horses and then ride off again, and just act pretty much as a skirmish cav, really. And you can see that it seems like the French mercenary dragoons are going to mount up again and get out of there. The torpedo dragoons here of Sweden, they are going to stand their ground and just, I guess, hide in this forest line. I don't know if they actually get any cover from it, but they might be. We've got more Jaegers over here. You got a lot of mountable skirmishers here for Sweden. They got their cav just in the back lines there. Artillery has already opened fire as well. These 1-pounders here, I guess, must be in range. I would have thought with this small caliber gun, it'd be pretty much on the front line, but maybe not. Cannons are pretty vulnerable in pike and shot. You can quite easily take them out with musket fire. Whether they've changed that, I don't know, but they used to just be able to just get the musketeers up and just blast the poor artillery crew, and you'd rout them that way rather than charging them. It's better not to charge them. You probably end up losing your unit. Melee in this generally is quite risky, which is quite funny since half of it, I guess, is melee with pikes. Like cav melees, you feel like are going one way for one side, and then all of a sudden the other side ends up winning, and you're like, it did not look clear at all. I've not quite understood the melee yet for this mod. Maybe no one knows. Yeah, lots of... I don't know if this is all of Sweden's cavalry. No, they do have some on this side as well. Got a lot of dragoons. Looks like they actually are shifting all of their cav to the right, though. It looks like... the Netherlands actually is shifting stuff back this way now. But the Netherlands had nothing here on this flank because they've staked up the entire line. So yeah, for Sweden to be aggressive on this flank here with cavalry doesn't really make sense. It'd have to be defensive. So they could maybe keep a couple there. But yeah, they should shift the rest to the other side. What is this? Oh, this is a sapper company. It's got a bomb. Do they throw grenades? Or are they just going to be just like melee guys? I really don't know. Possibly just melee. I can't imagine that they've added like grenades. I could be wrong though. We've got General's Bodyguard here. So that's just a basic general. I don't know if that really makes a difference. France's general is Louis de Bourbon. He's the Count of Soissons. And then I imagine the other Swedish general is over here. So we have Bernard, and we have... Oh, that's... Yeah, Bernard there. The other one... Is he going to be another Bernard? No, it's Gustav Horn. So we are back. Unfortunately, the replay did, like, crash. But yeah, what I was saying is pretty much... hopefully we play... For the roleplay reasons, we've got multiple different... We've got different generals. So yeah, we've got Gustav Horn here on the left. And then we have Bernard Saxe-Weimar on the right. And yeah, looks like we're shaping up for a big old cav fight. Between looks like the Swedes and then the Netherlands and the French on this side here. We don't seem to have a little bit of stuttering. I don't know why. Whether it's just because it's the mod, I'm not really sure. Maybe it's the amount of people. I don't know. We do get like 20k size armies at most, like battles at most of these, because the units are so big. I mean, like your cavalry, like 100 men alone, and then the infantry, yeah, you're looking at like 200 a unit. So they are big, big battles. We actually have some very elite cav here on the front lines as well for France. We have the Musketeers of the Guard. We've got some Carabineers. I don't know really if these are really good. I can never really remember. It's been a while since I've done Pike and Shot. I'm kind of out of touch with what's good and what's bad. I know the Musketeers of the Guard though. They're pretty damn good. And they're the famous Musketeers like with Aramis and D'Artagnan. All of those. We've got some Avignon pikes here. I don't know if they're really necessarily any better than any of the other pikes. Probably not. But yeah, and it looks like the lines have been drawn on the battle lines. You can see that the Swedes are ever so slightly split. And actually, there's been a bit of a fight over here, as the Swedes have managed to get themselves routed here. Some English musketeers being routed by some German mercenary Ritter. And they're going to be able to go after these dragoons here. They need to be careful not to shoot their own cavalry here. The Dutch. German mercenary Ritter is probably the most common unit you're going to see on the battlefield. Just about every faction seems to have their own German mercenaries. And yeah, they should take out those dragoons, I'd imagine, quite easily. They are tired. And they're taking some losses, these Germans. You can see, actually, they are wavering. It's a bit like NTW3. It's sort of like, fatigue comes into it a lot, and like numbers in your unit. They have managed to get rid of the cav, like they've actually scared off the horses. But the dragoon itself is now just a skirmish unit, which is not really the end of the world, I don't think. And it's more Jaeger cav on this side here, which I don't think can fight whilst mounted. I could be wrong. It might be able to. But they've still got a whole bunch of dragoons here. They can just really piss off the Dutch, and we'll see whether that happens. But yeah, you can see in the blue, I'd say that the French and the Dutch a lot more united. The Swedes kind of got a split straight down the middle, around about here. Not that the French really have anything stacked up here to actually try and take advantage of that. They've just got artillery of their own. So I guess you could argue that's a split for them as well, because if you were to go through the artillery, it's an open space in behind really at the moment. So yeah, both sides in the centre sort of a little bit on the weak side, and their flanks are really where they're you know, stacking up, you could say. Well, I say weak in the centre. It's just not a lot really going on there. This cavalry regiment, though, here for Sweden could just go straight on through. There's nothing, like I said, that would stop them. And this artillery here would be very, very vulnerable. These 6-pounders here, which I think are actually shelling the yeah, they are shelling the cavalry. I think they're aware of the danger that they're in. I'm really looking forward to this big old cavalry fight on this flank here. I think we are seeing yeah, stakes being put up by the maybe being put up? Yeah, these guys evidently have stake capability. There is a musketeer unit, just an average musketeer unit, but they can put up stakes. Well, I'm kind of a fan of that, but then also kind of not, because it does then mean that you're just going to see massive stake lines across the entire battlefield, and Cav doesn't really get used as much. That's my only sort of critique with that sort of thing. I don't know. These Trilliers might be about to put more stakes out as well, I think, here. So yeah, we're going to see stake lines from either side. To protect their own cavalry. So I guess they'll meet somewhere in the middle, potentially. We'll see. That could be my only critique so far, I think, of the mod. Having played it quite a bit, if more units are being able to stake, I feel like that just kind of makes Cav a bit weaker, because it can't really be used properly. I know that Cav has generally got a buff in the recent update, so whether that's just a counter to cavalries that everyone now stakes the battlefield up, because cavalry's just been given a buff. These English skirmishers, they've returned. Good to see that. I'm looking forward to seeing when we actually have an English faction, because I don't think we have one yet. So it would be like a Britain faction, but yeah, we haven't yet actually got one. But these English skirmishers here, Hamilton's regiment, they're moving forward. They're going to try and avenge their fallen, I guess, on those German mercenary rapiers, which are still back here. Well, at least I think they are. Those ones haven't taken casualties now, and the other one had. Oh no, this one here. This is the one that has already been in 77 out of 100 left. But yeah, they still got a decent amount of cavalry. I don't know why Sweden has not shifted more back. He has now got cavalry regiment here. That's good. So they can fight whilst mounted. Like I said, I don't think the dragoons can and the Jaegers, but I could be wrong. They might be able to. But it does seem like the first sort of action taking place on this left flank here. It seems where the Swedes are most wanting to try and test the Dutch. Seems a bit unusual, because I'd say this is the side that the Swedes are looking the weakest, to be honest. They've got a lot of their troops sort of like stacked up in 3 different divisions. You've got like sort of the reserve here. I guess like, well, that's the reserve. This is the second reserve. And their front lines here on the left, granted. But yeah, they aren't really stacked up ready to go in on one point in particular. And with no cav really on this side, they can't really easily make an offensive. Not that they'd be able to anyway, at least with cavalry, because like I said, there's stakes up. So yeah, just stake up the whole place. The right really is looking like where if anyone's going to go in, that's going to be where it is. And Sweden is moving forward here still. He's got his Scots as well here as well. They've got English and Scots serving with the Swedes. I guess because the Swedes are Protestant, I think they are at least in this day and age. And like at this point, the English or Britain is and Scotland are quite Protestant. So yeah, I guess that's maybe got something to do with it. Because it is like this whole era is based around the 30 Years' War, and that's a big sort of thing to do with faith and like who's Catholic and who's Protestant. So yeah, so I imagine it's something to do with that. But here we go, a line fight is actually getting underway now, as we have some Swedish musketeers actually opening up. And these are actually Swedish, well, those ones are Scots. There's a mix of Swedes and Scots blasting. And the French here can get a bit of a flank onto the Swedish line. As you can see, we've got Regiment of Avignon Musketeers. We've got the Avignon, I guess, regiment entirely here. They've got all 3 musketeers and some pikes. And some mercenary harquebusiers as well. Look like they were going to shift forward, but they've since changed their mind. More Swedes are throwing themselves forward. And yeah, really a big cav fight is being prepared over here. And it looks like with these musketeers as well to assist, they've got to give themselves a good chance. No stakes did actually get put up in the end here, looks like, for the Dutch and the French. So there's an open opportunity, at least for the Swedes, to make a cavalry charge. French cavalry, though, I think is probably some of the best in the game. I mean, they've got a lot of different cuirassier units. The de Bailin cuirassier is one of them. They've got the gendarmes, which I'm pretty sure are pretty good as well. The La Colonel gendarmes. And they're, yeah, pretty heavy as well. Oh yeah, we are. Oh, we're in different eras. I just realized we've got the 1630 and the 1618. So we're not actually really the 1630 like Kingdom of France, but these arquebusiers are 1618. I didn't realize you could mix the two like that, or maybe arquebusiers just haven't like evolved that much, that they're just the same era. Quite possibly is the case. The gun carriages here are gone. Because there has been a cav charge, actually, a small cav charge. You can see here by the cavalry regiment, they've actually got the carriages off these guns, but failed to actually rout them by the looks of it. That's just gonna be annoying for the for commentary now, because they'll be like, oh, why are these French units so in behind? And it won't be. It'll just be the carriages. But yeah, there you go. The cavalry, you know, could just charge at those guns. It was not going to get punished because there's nothing here for the French and the Dutch really to actually commit to stopping it. So the Swedes want to take advantage of that, really. They want to keep doing stuff like that. But it looks like we are going to see well, the cannon regiment for some reason in the forest line here with no cannons. Oh no, they still have their cannons. They're still here blasting. Like I said, this is going to be confusing. But we have to have got trilliers here, or at least we did for a second. I think they were here to try and also help protect the guns and maybe, you know, block any more cavalry charges. The musketeers are in range. They're firing and they're doing a little bit of damage to the cavalry, to the cannon crew maybe. 4 of them are dead. Again, the left flank here. I'd say this is stacked with Sweden at the moment, just the amount of musketeers compared to the skirms. And if they wanted to, they could probably get the cav sneak it around on the edge there if they wanted to really give it a go. But I don't think they have the superiority to really risk that. And look at the size of these units. These like pike units are absolutely massive. 300-man units. They are absolute whoppers. They really are. It looks like, yeah, the first sort of line fight going to get underway here with Sweden and France. This is where it's really getting going. Start blasting whenever you're ready, fellas. Start blasting for King and for Sweden. Yeah, they have Gustavus Adolphus at this time, the Swedes, and they have like, yeah, one of the best commanders of the age in Gustavus. He's, yeah, a really good commander. They end up sort of like becoming a bit of a superpower here, as well as like under Charles the 10th or the 12th. It's one of those. I can't remember which one, but he's also like a really good commander and like takes Sweden to pretty big heights. And their army is just really well drilled, really a professional army at this time, compared to some other sort of armies of Europe, which are just kind of like, you know, just conscripts, really. And it looks like we're going to see a cav charge here. Cavalry, yeah, I can hear these guys are shouting whether they were giving an attack order or they're going to go through this gap. I think they are, yeah, they're going to go through this gap before this cannon can set up. And yeah, the cavalry is going to go in for musketeers, very vulnerable to a cav charge. Well, the pikes obviously are the anti-cav. You can see the pikes are trying to shift across these Avignon pikes, but they're going to be too late. And in goes the Swedish cav. They're going to flatten that poor French unit there. I mean, the cav, though, is the one that suffers, which is what's so crazy about melee. Yeah, they routed, even though they got a charge off. It's they've killed like 30 guys in that charge. I guess it's morale, but yeah, Curassi's going in, wavering before they even get in. Yeah, really strange. Whether morale's got to rework as well, I do not know. That's very new. The Cuirassiers, I would have thought might rally. They are redlining and wavering still, and the Musketeers are unfazed. They lost 40 men and didn't even drop a smidgen in morale. Whether they're getting shot by the Swedes in the back as they were coming forward, it's possible. The Cav, I think, has all re-rallied quite quickly. Yeah, that Cuirassier, I think, has taken more casualties, yeah, from getting shot by its own troops as it's retreated. But the cavalry regiment here is still 97 out of 100. Yeah, pretty much didn't take a loss, like retreating. And a similar sort of thing, it seems like it's happened over here as well. Another cavalry regiment charge. I think they went for the guns again, and they are gone. Actually, no, they're not. They just retreated. The French has anticipated it. But I think the Swedes have got a good idea here. Pressurize the gun. And this sort of area, these German mercenary musketeers can't take on all these Swedes. Keep pressurizing the center between the two armies and see whether they can make something work there. The Dutch oddly sending forward units here on their own. The Dutch units actually seem a little small, on 160, and they have Scots as well, because these guys are Protestants as well, the Dutch at the time. So a bit confusing, I guess, for the for both sides. They both got Scots on either side of this battle. And there you go, yeah, that German mercenary musketeer moved forward, and now it's going back as it's getting routed. It was a bit odd they got sent forward on its own, and here we go, is a cav fight about to ignite. Looked like they might do for a second, but I don't think so now.
Our men are running, sir.
Someone's men are running. I'm not quite sure whose. Someone's. I don't know which perspective we're really looking from. There you go. It might be the Swedes, actually. Scots, the regiment there, routing. Yeah, I've totally forgotten which side. I think we're looking from the French and a Dutch perspective because they're in the blue and the Swedes are in the red. But I could be wrong. Yeah, we've got also looks like some skirmishers routing over here, and the line infantry, the musketeers are breaking there as well. Yeah, this left seeming a lot more pacifist than the right. This Swedish right really wanting to get into the face of the French and try and win this musket fight. And it looks like they are kind of a bit. I mean, they outgun the French by 12 men. Each unit for the French is like 180, while the Swedes like 192. Those extra 12 guys need to make the difference in each line fight, and they are seeming like they're making the difference. So losing or combat even of the French in most places. Will we see some sort of move here? Looks like the Carabineers coming forward for the French. There's plenty of cav cover though here for the Swedes. They were to try something, but they might try and go for this musketeer, go down the line after that. There are pikes as well also supporting. Or they might just be bringing the Carabineers forward just to use their shooting capability. But also looking slightly at it, they've got the high ground here to the Swedes. If you can see the slope, but the French are making an uphill assault here. And there you go, the Carabineers get their shots off. Did a little bit of damage to the musketeers there. It sounded like rockets going off a little bit. Yeah, really, the French are actually making a bit of an uphill assault, at least on this right-hand side here. It's a bit more flat in the center. Maybe actually even so that... Yeah, no, I'd say both sides kind of have a bit of a hill themselves. Here, Dragoons again, looking like they're able to force back the French center. You can see where the guns have fallen back. And they're right between the two armies now, these Dragoons here of Sweden. And it's actually called upon a response here, as we have cuirassiers now of the Dutch that have now shifted to the center, I guess, ready to maybe to make a counter charge. These are the really elite ones here, the guards of the guard cuirassiers. They're pretty much just in full, like, plate armor. They've got some lovely orange plumes on them. Got some more just generic cuirassiers there. It looks like, yeah, maybe the Dutch getting ready for a sort of a cavalry charge. We have got a pike unit here that's making an interesting formation, as it's going to get friendly fired, I would have thought, in a moment by French, and also shot by the Swedes. And it is redlining. And some of the musketeers starting to rout and actually getting blasted by their own artillery. That is not so great. And the pikes here stacked on top of the musketeers. I guess how they would have been in history. The French are definitely losing this line fight, though. They are getting messed up, to be honest. And so maybe they need to make something happen with this cav fight. They maybe need to try and initiate it. Thing is, Sweden has the stakes, so they don't have to. They can just stand here. The Swedes can be passive with their cavalry if they want to, at least on the flanks. And the center might be where they're going to play with the cavalry by the looks of it. Small Dragoons losing their mounts. They have had to fall back their Dragoons by the looks of it. Don't know whether they've actually got the men back. I can't see. Oh yeah, they're here in the center, aren't they? The Torpedo Dragoons. Again, Franz kind of thrown back in the center when they try to push forward with his mercenary musketeers. We can see French artillery as well is now moving right to the front lines. Some 6-pounders here. I think they're trading okay. Oh, a cav charge here. It's attempted, but I think the pikes have just, you know, got across in time, blocked that cavalry charge and the opportunity there. They could go now. I mean, there's a Piedmont musketeer that overcommitted. Yeah, I think both sides are kind of trading, actually. Now I look a little bit more. The right, I think the Swedes are doing okay. Center, a little bit of a problem, I feel like, going on there. They might have an issue. They are seeing quite a few of their musketeers start to get shot up. Yeah, quite a few are red. Well, a couple are redlining anyway. Left again, I think they're doing okay as well. They seem like they're causing a few issues here in the middle of their battle. This left-hand entire army, though, yeah, just standing and watching. Them and the Danes are just like, yeah, we'll just kind of look at each other and pretend we're having a battle. Who really wants to fight each other? And these 1-pounders, yeah, just chipping away. The Dutch do have artillery. Doesn't seem like it's being very active, though. Don't see many clouds of smoke coming from it. And again, it looks like the Swedes shifting cav that they initially had on the right. It's going back towards the middle. Whether it's going to go any further left, I don't know. Some of it looks like it has. Oh no, the ones from the left have come back to the middle. Interesting, interesting. It looks like maybe a big cav charge planned right down the middle here by Sweden. Made up of cuirassiers. Yeah, a lot of... They've got cuirassier... a guard, is that? No, just a cuirassier regiment. And they've got the horn cuirassier regiment. So they've got a couple of different ones themselves, actually. Just like the French. Speaking of the French, they've still given more ground. These guys are pointed the wrong way. And hopefully aren't shooting their own friends, because these cuirassiers here are very expensive. Can't be affording to do that. I certainly think with these large armies, a good thing to do if you're able to micro yourself is try and micro in a couple of places. Try and maybe do a feint somewhere or commit like a false sort of like charge, and then actually make your real punch somewhere else.
Our men are running,
see whether the player can micro in two sort of places at once. I think that's always a good idea with these. But certainly with Pike and Shot, like the amount of units and size of your army is huge. Good way to sort of test someone's micro capabilities. Maybe send something in on the right, get them already focused down there, then actually send another like column of cavalry through the middle, try and go for musketeers, or send forward the pikes, something like that. It's always a way just to sort of frustrate your opponent. But I think at the moment they're dragging more and more stuff from the right hand side here of the Swedes. They aren't interested at all in going in here. They are going to send forward a musketeer unit, probably to shoot at these cav units back there, just to, chip away at them, do some weaknesses to them. So if it comes to late game, they won't be as effective. The pikes here just waiting for the call to go forward. Champagne musketeers, pretty beaten up at this point. A lot of these French musketeer units seem to be. The Dutch are now getting into a bit of a line fight as well. Finally, the left flank here of the Swedish army has woken up and has advanced. And they're now speedily reloading their guns. Still think they could push here. Not a lot here at all. Why does Swedes haven't just pushed that skirmish line? Just you turn it, and then forces the Danes back, and then you can push your main line forward. I think it's definitely an option. Whether the I've been calling them the Danes as well. It's the Dutch. The Dutch. Oh no, maybe they do have a bit more here. It's just hidden. We just can't see it. Possibly why the Swedes are holding back then. They don't know what everything they've got. Yeah, it seems like it's just turned into a bit of a stalemate here. Both sides here just grinding each other down. That's kind of how these battles end up turning into. Just a bit of a grind fest with line battles. I mean, the Swedes have got a really good position with this unit, and they're actually blasting a Harquebusier here, which, it can shoot back, but I think certainly gets outgunned by a normal musketeer unit. It looks like some carabineers are going to come forward. Musketeers are having none of it. They're going to try and retreat. No one could form squares before the day of the age of squaring. So if they were to charge, they certainly get a back charge. Could be quite dangerous here. Well, they have put some stakes forward. Now have the French. Not real. Oh no, and they have put. Yeah, they've kind of killed off most of the battleground for the cav. Not all of it though. Do like how both sides are sort of just playing mind games with their cavalry. Where are they going to commit it? Where are they going to try and really strike? Like I said, cavalry is so key in this mod. It really is sort of like the piece de resistance of every army. If you're going to win a game, it's going to be because you've probably got cavalry superiority. And you've got to get that by having a big cav fight at some point. Looks like France is shifting all his back to the left. The Dutch might be going all the way back to the, maybe to the center or to their right. Like I said, the right's pretty killed off. Both sides, I think, staked up. Or did they? I thought the Swedes staked up here, but maybe they didn't. The Dutch certainly have. Doesn't look like the Swedes have. So maybe that's an option again for the Dutch. Just smashing through all these dragoons and these like weak Hamilton regiment units, and then try and peel on around, because the Swedes have minimal cav here. It's all in the center and on the right. I'm pretty sure it's like a Sun Tzu thing, but just like, you know, attack where the enemy isn't. Like say that, like that line. I've forgotten what that is, but yeah, do that. Basically just need to do that. Why did this artillery as well move so far forward? That was very odd. A 6-pounder here just wasted by the French. But yeah, the Dutch cav should just really go in where the Swedish cav is not. They already have a whole bunch stacked up here. A lot of cuirassiers. Just swing in, try and route those lights, and then just turn the flank. There's one cavalry regiment here to try and stop them, and then that will immediately stop the Swedes in their tracks, who are now advancing. Start blasting, boys. Start blasting. Also, the armies in this period, everyone's just multicolored. Everyone just kind of wears whatever color they like. I mean, the Swedes, it seems like blues, yellows, and reds. The reds mainly, I think, I was going to say are mainly the English stuff, but it's not true. Like these guys are the Roda Regiment. That's very much a Swedish unit. And I think greys as well, like the Scots wear grey. And the Dutch, they wear a lot of browns, yellows, blues, orange, even green, it seems. And the French, yeah, again, I'd say blue, white. All sorts of strange colours as well. So I think the mercenary ones, they just wear whatever they like. But yeah, this is kind of interesting now. It is kind of spicing up. Dutch kind of moving forward. French and, you know, having to move forward their right here to sort of meet the Swedes. The Swedes can't flank the Dutch. And the Dutch right's move forward. It's certainly being a bit more aggressive. And the Swedish move their left forward as well. So they're kind of meeting a little bit closer. There's going to have a fierce musket fight there. This artillery as well is moving forward for the Swedes here. This 1-pounder can definitely probably get some good side shots into the side of that French force. See if they can force them back. And the French are sending cav now to help the Dutch. Whether they see an opportunity, I don't know. Or whether they're just trying to, again, just throw off the enemy, make them throw more cavalry this way. Musketeers moving up though. Oh jeez, that was a pretty withering volley here. It's going to rout. That's going to fully shatter that unit there. I mean, they're close to breaking themselves here, the Germans. That affects the other units along the line. But this is certainly looking like a good opportunity. The Swedes are, you know, I mean, they're redlining here. And then after that, there's not many Musketeers that can cover this pike unit. Whether it is time to send the pikes in, I don't know, but cav and infantry moving forward here hard on the Dutch right after being so passive for so long. The Dutch look like they might be going to fully commit, maybe going for a melee. Nope, and then they change their mind. They're like, oh no. They clearly had there's been a whisper in the ear. It's like, no, not yet. Maybe because they are waiting for the French cav, and this does look like there is going to be some huge charge here. I mean, we've got like 7 units of cavalry, I think here. Then another like 5 units of cav coming from the French. So yeah, they are definitely stacking up here, ready for some sort of offensive. The Dutch centre also is moving up. Yeah, Sweden I think is in danger of a charge here. Looks like the French are going to probably go through this gap. By the looks of it, looking at where they're formed up, they're going to go through this gap, maybe try and hit the flank here of the Swedes. Not a bad idea. And then the Dutch, I think, are going to go through somewhere here on this right flank. The skirmishers, I do like how they're just being ignored. I think that's... I mean, maybe it's not a viable, like, monetary option to go for, but I think it's an option to go for because it's so weak there. This cavalry should just trample them. It looks like they're just going to go straight through their own lines and then into the musketeers here. And the pikes, I think, are coming forward as well. Maybe as a cover for the cav so they can take the shots. It's not a bad idea. And then the Dutch, are they going to... I guess they're going to go just through their own units. Guess that's maybe okay. It's a unit cross. But here we go. In go the cuirassiers here of the Dutch. And they are going to make the first sort of substantial charge, I'd say, of today's game. And they're winning on the right, but then actually didn't go in on the left of that charge. As you can see now, we've got a Musketeers and Cavalry Regiment stuck in here for the Swedes. And I think the pikes are going to keep coming forward. This cuirassier here, I think, is committed. Yeah, it is. Yeah, they've got some pretty decent cuirassiers in there, have the Dutch. I think quality-wise, they should win this one. But like I said, the melee is just really confusing. It's very confusing. And here we go. Looks like the Dutch cav moving around the flank. I think going to try and get a side charge. The general here, Gustav Horn, is in a little bit of danger, you know. And the Swedes are actually turning some of their dragoons to try and side shot the impending cav charge. Here come the guards. They're going to try and flank around. We've got some cuirasses now for Sweden dashing over, becoming an emergency response force. And we've got some, is that a life regiment unit here? Yeah, life regiment, I think that is. That is actually looks like a pretty good cav unit for the Swedes. Here comes another charge. And there's cuirasses here. They've got to deal with a whole bunch of Dutch ones as well. And they're actually wavering as some of these Dutch cuirasses are just immediately going in. Whether because they've got back charge, but actually so is this Horn cuirassier here. Already dropped to 48 riders left. That's going to need some sort of support there. Here comes the French cavalry as well. Pikes are broken for the Dutch. It looks like the Swedes sent forward some stuff as well in the centres. We've got some musketeers here that just got randomly sent forward. They're just going to get absolutely ploughed down here by Berlin cuirassiers. So they're going to get, yeah, smashed up there. They're going to rout pretty easily. They're actually getting shattered. That is a bit of a waste there. And yeah, the French are really going in hard on this flank here now, supporting the Dutch. The gendarmes coming in. The Swedes are trying to turn some units to try and help, you know, get some covering fire. But their other units already in melee. The pikes, yeah, very much gone. But I think it's a bit of a bug that units just stay in melee in Shogun. They don't necessarily just rout. So these guys might farm. And who won that fight there? Looks like the Swedes actually won. Okay, yeah, with that cavalry regiment coming in, they help rout with guards there. Now the Swedes can turn this one around potentially. They can try and get a back charge here, and they should really try that onto the back of those cuirassiers here. They're already wavering. So are these other Dutch cuirassiers here. They should get a back charge now with the cavalry regiment. They could rout a lot of these guys. And in they go. They're going to rout. Yeah, they've already routed that one before they even made contact. They've routed all the Dutch, actually. The French gendarmes might go here as well. The Swedes are throwing this assault back quite nicely. Cavalry regiment here helped to sort of force back the infantry, but is wavering. Musketeers here, yeah, moving forward. The Dutch are in full advance, really. The French pikes being blasted. They've been thrown back. And it looks like we've also got cuirassier regiment in here. They're dealing with some mercenary dragoons. I was going to say they should easily kill those guys off. That could be a big win there in the center for the Swedes. Swedes are throwing forward pikes, but a lone pike unit is not necessarily going to do a lot. Hamilton Scots trying to hold back a whole horde of Dutch here. The left, I'd say, is sort of in favor of the Swedes at the moment. Certainly seem like they're throwing back at least the cavalry. They're kind of blasting their own cavalry here as well. They need to be careful of that. They need to be careful not to rout their own cavalry at the expense of killing off the French one. There is more French cav now arriving as well. We've got Chevaliers, the light cav unit there. And also, yeah, there's some cuirassiers are returning. Lots of units return quite quickly in Pike and Shot Total War. It's not the end of the world if you lose a unit. It looks like cuirassiers here have won their fight against the gendarmes. They're now trying to deal with the pikes. The pikes are wavering. If they could get side shots here, the musketeers, they could do some serious damage, or move these pikes forward. And all of the Swedish cav is also wavering and possibly going to break here. And with the support of the general here, Louis de Bourbon, this Chevalier is a bit of a threat. And he's now going to be actually able to get in on that left flank onto the skirms. Oh, sorry, onto the musketeers. The center, yeah, very much still in the mix. The right, yeah, not really seen. It's actually a bit more passive. Around the center of the right-hand flank, we've got cuirassiers going in. Looks like, well, they've been aggressive here, at least with the infantry. And all the arquebusiers, I think they're shooting over the heads of these musketeers. They are being a lot more aggressive here on the right of the Swedes. Just no big cav fight as expected, because all the cavs seem to have been shifted towards the center and the left. Well, center and their right, the Dutch and the French right, but the Swedish left. A lot of French cavs stacked up here as well, blasting into pikemen. This was arquebusiers just shooting point blank range, then getting out of there. It's turning into a bit of a mess. That's for sure. The Dutch rout some of these Hamilton Scott infantry. And looks like some lifeguard cavalry as well is getting thrown back as well. It's, yeah, really, really tough. Tough fight going back and forth on both sides here. We have got a general stuck in here. Gustav Horn is in here, along with all these musketeers, I believe. And we're going to see a cavalry regiment as well shift to the side here. I don't know if Louis de Bourbon actually got thrown in. He did. He's obviously as well in danger of dying. So yeah, both sides throwing in a general. This is the French one and the Swedish left. Chevaliers might rout here, and the Dutch cavalry is also looking like it's at risk. It might get just broken here with this charge. Not that they were really charging at the Dutch. The Swedish left, though, is in a lot of danger. It's actually, I thought they were doing okay, but it is slowly being eroded away. We have also got a cavalry regiment here that's just returned that, maybe wants to think about going back in to save their general. Gendarmes here helping to rout lots of the skirms. Infantry-wise, they're really short on the left here, and it is starting to show gaps are appearing. This Colonel Gendarme here going through. I mean, we've got Cav here on the front lines in front of Dutch pikes. We've got a little a little Swedish pike unit here as well, trying to hold the line. And musketeers here, yeah, still blasting at all these carabineers. Just need to keep advancing forward. There's no pikes, or like stakes, sorry, in front of them, so they could just charge the cav as well if they wanted to. There's a lot of cav against 3. They maybe want to think about shifting some cav back down the line, because yeah, the left is not looking good. Like the Dutch and the French over on this side here, combining quite nicely. And the French cav, I don't know if it's going to win this fight necessarily, but it's just, I think, trying to get this general back in combat, Gustav Horn here. French general, yeah, he's very much safe now. He's pulled back to Dutch and French lines. Another gendarme unit, another banged up gendarme unit here. It's going to go into this, what remains of the Swedish left. Yeah, we've got some lifeguards over here now arriving in cavalry regiment. These guys have already seen action though. French have won that, have lost that fight there. The Swedes hold on. They're going to get Gustav out of here again. Infantry, though, a constant risk of being charged by cavalry. But it looks like they're going to break the gendarmes there as well. And there you go. I'd say that's round 1 to the French and the Dutch. They've managed to push back and really maul the Swedish left. So much so that the Swedish left is pretty much gone. The Swedish right, though, looking really good. They're routing a lot of these Dutch cavalry units here. The Carabineers finally dealt with. France has had to reorganize his left flank. He's sort of doing it now as we speak. But yeah, they need to reorganize. This is a bit of a strange formation going on right now. These German mercenary musketeers. And yeah, battalion. And they got the Swiss guards here. I did not realize. The guards, Swiss musketeers. Oh, very cool. But yeah, they need to sort this out, get these into actual sort of fighting formations again, have the pikes behind, musketeers in the front. But yeah, they kind of just, I think, just, you know, put a big box over everything and then told it to retreat to this position. But yeah, they kind of, by doing so, have now cut off the Dutch left. As you can see, the Dutch left's in a bit of an L shape here. Got Swedes on all sides pretty much, as the Swedes sort of break through and force back the French. Yeah, very, very interesting. Certainly big wins on the right, I'd say, for the Dutch and the French. But it has come at a cost. Their left is yeah, in a bit of a tatters as well. And you can say vice versa for the Swedes. They've really stacked up a lot of assets, a lot of cav on that right, and it's come at a cost for their own left, which is now, yeah, retreating, it looks like, to try and join up with the centre. The Swedish centre, though, also looks pretty weak when it comes to musketeers. I mean, the Dutch one isn't much better. I'd like to see the Ottomans in another, like, sort of one of these fights. The Ottomans being a faction, you know, being quite active, but no one ever plays them. Which is a great shame, I guess, because they just don't have pikes, like most of the Western European factions do. Maybe they'll get used more when more, like, eastern factions get added. I don't know, or like more Cav orientated factions get added. I mean, the Poles and the Turks, pretty good matchup, I'd imagine. But there you go, yeah. That's why I don't charge Cav into Pikes. You end up routing 2 full units of Cavalry there. But yeah, really now the Swedes need to just like ignore the French almost if they can. Put just a small like line of musketeers there, and then get their Cav and just start to loop in behind. And they can do a lot of damage here, I think, to these Dutch. They could work their way down the line. The Scottish regiment moving up here. They could get Cavalry, yeah, just to come and help up here, and maybe just try and help rout these French units. They'd be in behind this L of the Dutch. The Dutch shifting across more troops, extending their L, making it longer. A bigger L. Maybe they'll get the L today. We'll see. Who are you rooting for? Let me know. Who you think's gonna win at this point? Both sides still pretty neck and neck. Bounce power looks like it is slightly in favor of the French and the Dutch. I don't know if that really means a lot. Scottish musketeers routed there. Just getting overwhelmed by the firepower, and then the Carabineers also running in. Pikes are arriving for the Swedes as well. Whether they'll get their pikes down in time, I don't know. They are in melee now, these Carabineers. And yeah, it looks like Sweden instead is going to just persist to keep attacking the French here. He's just going to keep going forwards. Though I really still feel like the Dutch is the kill. Like, they've got the threat to get in behind it. They just have to force back this cavalry one more time. This Berlin cuirassiers are all pretty exhausted, all pretty battered. I don't think it would take too much to get these guys off the battlefield. Where I was going to say, the Swedes have lots of fresh cav here, both in strength and also just, you know, tiredness-wise. They could really, maybe really force this, I guess you call it center. They want to give it a go. Then just ignore the French infantry. Swing it. I mean, or you could do the other opposite. You could swing in behind the French infantry, route that, and then it's just the Dutch left to deal with. So yeah, really, I feel like the Swedes just play passive here. And then they need to be really aggressive with what cavalry have in the center here. And really try and just blitz the French cav. And then you can either go into the backs of the French or into the backs of the Dutch. The Dutch right, though, still being really aggressive. I don't really know how it's allowed to be this aggressive. It's got very little left. Just Sir Archibald Douglas and all of his Scots. And then some other Dutch infantry here as well. But yeah, there's a lot of fairly healthy musketeers still moving forward here. I guess maybe the Swedes just don't really have anything to throw back at them. They've got a little bit of, you know, musketeer abilities. Yeah, I guess the Dutch right, actually. Yeah, you're looking at their infantry, like 149 out of 160. Yeah, a lot of these units are like still triple figures for musketeers. Whether it's the time for the pikes to be committed, I don't know. You're going to see cuirassiers come forward again here. Whether they're going to go in, I don't know. Here comes the Swedes. They look like they might be about to either ignore the French or they're going to go in. We've got guard of France pikemen here. They are getting their swords out and they're going to go into melee like that. They're not going to be pikemen, they're going to be swordsmen now. I mean, that's a pretty nasty volley there. Oh my gosh, that is a war crime, what those Gula musketeers did there. They just routed the guards of France pretty easy there. They might get a lot of these guards, actually. Another guard of France musketeer. They've got quite a few guard units now to the French. Mercenaries gone as well. Yeah, that actually blitzed the full front line there. That was pretty gruesome. There's a lot of losses, I think, for the French, actually. You can see all of the dead and the dying. Yeah, quite a lot went there. That's a shame. Again, though, that cav force is all still like able to go for it. Exhausted, tired, winded. A few of them are fresh. Maybe the Swedes want to really push this. I'd say they do. They all look like they're massing up their cav here, ready for a response. With the infantry as well to support. They got some musketeers here that could, you know, help out. Just blast them first, then send the cav in. They need to act quickly because the Dutch are moving aggressively now on the Swedish left. It's now do or die for Sweden. Charge in, try and break this This cavalry force. Bernard Saxe-Weimar is joining the fight. Good volley there from the French. They're going to get a volley off themselves of the Swedes. Doing a bit of damage. I don't know if, yeah, I mean, they're breaking this one here. There's a regiment of cuirassiers. You could break that. Good volleys, actually. They might get the general, you know. Countess of Soins. And yeah, it looks like the French, you know, they're going to break. Oh my gosh, yeah, that's all their cav gone. And the general is going as well. There you go. That's France out of the game. As soon as the general dies for an army, that's pretty much GG. And there you go. France is being obliterated. And all of a sudden, the balance power is probably going to start shifting way back in favor of the Swedes, I'd imagine. We'll see. The Dutch have got to act quick now, because it's going to all of a sudden turn in favor of the Swedish alliance here. There you go. Dutch cav going in. Dutch cuirassiers. Looks like they're going to get thrown back here by musketeers. Pikes are in. This is the lighter side. We can see all the pikes here poking away at each other. Poke, poke, poke. And we got cavalry in here as well. Actually, I just realized for the Swedes, they got some cuirassiers as those ones that we saw just warming themselves up. But they have got in. They've managed to get into these musketeers. Can they rout them? I don't know. It doesn't help that they shoot whilst in melee. I don't really like that people do that. I don't know if they do it on purpose. And there you go. I think the Swedes are actually just going to wrap up. Yeah, the cavalry came in from the center, from the cav, and it just wrapped into the side. It's defeated the Dutch. And just like that, because I think because army losses, because they lost their French ally, they've just then mass routed. And there you go. GG for the Swedes. Another loss for the Dutch. They don't seem to be able to win most games that I watch them. But yeah, what a fight. What a fight. And we'll have a quick look at some of these end results. We'll see how everyone did. I do like how we have a glorious end screen like that. This was sent in by Zamnot, who was playing as one of the Swedes. So well done to him and Mini Stop, who won this one. But yeah, look at the size armies. It's like 11k on that side, another 11k on the other side. And then, yeah, well done to Sandwich and Panzer Grenadier as well. Both put up good games. Zamnot here with his kills, his musketeers 221, 204 with another Gula musketeer, 176 with another musketeer. Scott's getting 155. There are the rest of the kills. If you want to have a look at those, you can pause and enjoy. Sandwich getting 207 kills with his German mercenary ratiers, and then his Pike getting 200 kills. Another Pike getting 140, and there are the rest of his kills. If you want to have a look at those. Then Mini stopped playing as the other Swedish army. 186 kills with his Cuirassier regiment. 120 kills with the Gula musketeers. 115 with the Gula pikemen. And then the rest of his kills. And then we have Panzer Grenadier playing as the Kingdom of France. 156 kills with the Gendarmes, his Carabineers. 143 kills. 138 with the Champagne musketeers. Berlin Cuirassiers, 134 kills. There are the rest of his kills. But there you go, guys. That is today's Pike and Shot battle. If you did enjoy and want to see more of this sort of era, do remember to leave a like, subscribe if you're new around here, and a comment to show your support. And I'll see you, folks, in the next one. Bye for now.